Hey guys, we are in week 1 of our October curriculum. This is our first video of the month, so it's for our Monday, Tuesday class. And I'm really excited to teach you guys some fun stuff this month. Before we get going on our lesson today, I want you to get your body warmed up. Jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, front-ups. That's when you swing your back leg up like this, getting that nice stretch in the back of your leg, doing 10 on each side, keeping those hands up, right? And then finish up with a 30-second exercise, whether that's high knees going for 30 seconds or mountain climbers for 30 seconds, or you could even just hold a plank for 30 seconds. But I want you to get your body warmed up. Ready, set, go. Okay, guys, so our first thing we're going to learn today is our inside crescent kick. All right, so crescent kicks, there's actually inside and outside crescent kicks, but the idea of a crescent kick is the movement of your foot goes from one side up and over to the other side, right? Because a crescent is another word for half circle. Okay, so when we do an inside crescent kick, our foot comes from outside our body and we finish up and over across on the other side. Okay, so when you finish an inside crescent kick, your feet end up crossed a little bit, and then you just bring your leg back into ready stance. All right, so the idea of crescent kicks, these are not self-defense kicks, these are martial arts kicks, so they'll come in handy when you start doing sparring and stuff as you move higher up into warriors, intermediate, and advanced, and eventually a black belt. Okay, crescent kicks are also fun because they look pretty cool when you get really good at them and you have targets and you can hit it, you can swing real high. So crescent kicks are fun to learn. I enjoy teaching them, I enjoy doing them. But let's get going. So our right side back, hands are up. We're going to do crescent kicks with our back leg today just because that's a little bit easier to learn to get the hang of it with, okay? So the idea of an inside crescent kick, like I said, your foot is going to come from the outside, it's going to cross inside, finishing inside, cross across your other leg. Here's what that looks like. Kick, finish there, and then set it back. Okay, so again, coming from the outside, up and over, 1, 2, and back. Okay, now you may have noticed there is a little bit of a chamber when you go for this kick. You're leading with the knee, and then you snap it out as you go up and over, and then set it back down. Okay, so one more time, a little bit of a chamber, snap it out as you go over and back. Okay, just for reference, the outside crescent kick goes the opposite way, up and over to the outside. Okay, but today we're doing inside crescent kick. Okay, and then let's switch our feet. Let's do it the other side. Okay, so now with our other leg back, now we're going to go up and over this way. Snap it out, up and over, and then reset, right? Always keeping those hands up as you're kicking from the outside in, finishing in with that. Feet cross a little bit, just touch your toe to the ground, and then bring it back into that ready stance, okay? So, it's not just swinging your leg all the way around, right? You don't want to come back here and go like that. You do want to get a little bit of a chamber. Lead with the knee pointing out to the side, then snap the leg up and over to come around. All right, so that's inside crescent kick. I want you to do 10 on each side. Now, if you have a helper or someone with you, or maybe even like a pillow or a cushion that'll kind of stand up a little bit and give you something to kick up and over, so you can feel that crescent motion getting up and over something instead of just kicking straight out, right? It helps when you have a target, something on the floor in front of you that you need to get up and over in order to get the proper motion, right? So 10 inside crescent kicks on each side. Ready, set, go. All right, guys, next up, we're going to be going over palm strikes. Those of you who have been doing videos with me for a while, you've probably gone over these before. It's a pretty basic thing we go through your first time coming to class when you do an intro class, but we like to come back around to it every couple months because we feel like this is a good self-defense strike. It's going to be much more effective and less hurtful to you if you have to strike someone in self-defense, right? Because last month we learned the punches where you had to make sure you hit just right, straight arm with just those 2 knuckles. And if you're aiming for a chin or even for like an eye and you don't hit it just right, it's going to really mess up your hand. Nice thing about palm strikes, your hand is open. This part of your hand is really strong, right? Think about doing push-ups. You can hold that on your hands for a long time. Yeah, your shoulders and your body are going to get tired, but your hands can hold it for a long time, as opposed to doing push-ups on your knuckles, where your knuckles get really sore, your hands get really tired, right? So the nice thing about palm strikes is it's easy to do. You don't have to think much about it. You just go for it. If you hit them in the chin, great. If you hit them in the nose, great. If your fingers are sticking out farther and you jab them in the eyes first and then hit them with the palm, that's okay too. Nice thing about palm strikes is that open hand, and it's really easy to do. All right, so if you have your right side back, just like with punches, we had punch, reverse punch. Now we've got palm, reverse palm, okay? Now, just like with the punches we did last month, you need to twist your hips and reach out, right? If I just go like this, there's no power in there. It's just a couple pounds of power in my arms. And for kids, that's not a lot of power either. But when you put your whole body behind it with some momentum, twisting, reaching out, that's what's going to give your palm strike some power, right? And it snaps out, boom, right at the end. No, no, right? It's not a no, we're not slapping and we're not doggy paddling, right? It's snap it out there and come right back. No, no, right? And then when you go for the reverse palm, twisting and reaching it out there, really snap it, boom, right at the end. No. See, I've got my heel coming up off the floor. I'm not flopping over like this. Keeping those toes strong on the ground, ready to push off if I needed to move around at all, right? So the first palm strike, straight out, reaching straight out. I'm at an angle for you guys just so you can see it. And then the reverse palm coming out, twisting the hip, bending that knee, pushing off the toes, okay? So all together it looks like this. No, okay? You can almost step into that first one a little bit. No, no. And then just make sure you really twist into it, all right? So let's do that a couple of times. Palm, reverse palm. Again, palm, reverse palm, okay? Now if I switch my feet, same thing, only now, again, we always want to start with the forward hand, just like with our punches. So now I've got my other leg back, so now my other hand is the first palm, and this one's the reverse palm now, okay? Again, you don't have to be like right? You don't have to be going like this and leading with your palm. It's okay if your fingers are sticking out a little bit, right? Because they're nice and relaxed, and when you hit, they'll push back. If you hit the eyes first with the fingers, that's okay, right? So don't think you have to like flex your hands and pull them way back, and then it's like, oh, don't break a nail. Now we're not worried about that. We keep them nice and short in martial arts, okay? So when you've got that other leg back, reach out with the one, twist the hip, twist into the next one, pushing off the back toe. It is not flopping over like this, right? Keep that heel up in the air, but the toes strong on the floor, okay? So it's 1, 2, using that voice, no, okay? Now, when you go to hit something, right, if you guys have a pair of those mitts at home that you can hit, great. Some people might have like a punching bag or something like this. Maybe dad's got a heavy bag in the garage or something, okay? But what's important is when you go to hit something with a palm strike, 2 things. You don't want it to be a slap, right? You don't want to come up like this and go down. You also don't want to lean in and then push, right? That's just a push. The idea with a palm strike is it snaps out, okay? It's real snappy. See how far away I still am from the bag or mitt when I go to hit it. And I'm not bringing it back like this and going down, because that's a slap. Palm strike has to be straight out, straight back. Straight out, straight back, okay? Again, straight out and back, straight out and back, right? So really focus on not going slapping down, okay? It's straight out, but you also want to avoid coming in like this and then pushing out, right? It's snap it out there, okay? You hit it at the last possible second when all of that power is bursting out through the end of your hand, okay? So practicing some palm strikes. If you have something you can hit, do one, that's one, right? Do a palm reverse palm 10 times, then switch your feet. That's 1, 2, right? Again, the speed, it's not, right? That's too fast. You're not going to have enough power, especially if you have a bag that kind of rocks back and forth. There's timing. 1, 2, as it comes back, right? So make sure you're not going, right? That's what do you call it? Patty cake, right? You want timing. 1, 2, right? Because if you hit someone, it's 1, their head goes back and then comes back, 2, and then comes back forward, right? So think about the timing as well. Don't go too fast on that palm, reverse palm combination. Ready, set, go. All right, guys, last little fun thing we're going to work on today is a move called bob and weave, okay? This is actually a, you hear it more in boxing, training for boxing, but anytime someone's swinging a punch at you, you can do this bob and weave, right? The idea is someone is swinging at you like this. We call this a hook punch. It's a giant punch. You could see it coming, right? That's going to give you plenty of time to bob and weave. Bob and weave is bob going down, weave to the side, and bob back up, okay? So the bobbing is up and down, weaving is side to side. So then when we put that together, bob down, weave to the side, bob back up. So the idea is when that punch is coming, you bob under the punch, and then you come up on the outside of the punch, okay? So what you can do to practice this in a good ready stance, the biggest thing about bob and weaving is staying tall, right? Even though you're going down, you're not ducking. It's not a duck, right? Because if you duck and bend over like this, and you can't see what's happening, right? But if you go like this, keeping your hands and eyes up, that's a proper bob and weave. So it's really important. It's almost like doing just a step, squat down, my upper half doesn't move at all, and then I come up and bring my foot back over, still in that ready stance. If I go the other way, step out, drop down, keeping my chin and head up, come back up, bring that foot back over into my ready stance. Okay, and you can, another way you can do it is you step, bob and weave, and then step back, right? Creating a little bit of distance, okay? And then coming back the other way, boom, and back. Trading your feet, that works okay too. As long as you're keeping your head and chest up and hands up, right? You don't want to go, if they're a really fast fighter and they see your hands down, they may start to swing with the other hand as you come up. If your hands are down, that's a bad day, right? So keeping those hands up as you drop down with a little step, come up, bring the other foot over, drop down, come back up, right? So that is bob and weave. And one way you can practice that, if you have a partner, they can swing just slowly. It doesn't even have to be a punch, right? Just open hand. And they're going to bring their hand level with your head, right? So if you didn't drop down, they might get you right there in the side of the head. And they'll go slow, slowly just waving the hand out. And you want to step under and come out on the outside of the arm. So then if they come with this arm, then you want to go that way. Always coming up on the outside, okay? So practice, if you have someone who can give you those slow hands for you to practice. Duck under, always keeping your eyes up, chest up, right? The only movement is in your legs. The rest of your body doesn't change at all. So practice those bob and weaves going back and forth for about 30 seconds to a minute. Ready, set, go. Okay guys, we are in a new month. That means we've got a new word. Our word of the month for October is self-control. It's actually 2 words but hyphenated and put together. Okay, self-control is so important because it can have a huge impact on the way that you interact with the people around you and then the way that people respond to you. Okay, so really quick, I'm going to take you through the whole sheet. The ability to control your behavior or impulses. Next video, we'll talk a little more about what specifically that means to help you better understand it. Then we've got 5 ways to show self-control. Keeping my hands to myself. I'm sure you guys know a lot about that. Not talking back to my parents, which is a big deal. Number 3, not grabbing at things that aren't mine. Number 4, not complaining when things don't go my way. And 5 is think before I speak or do something. These are all great things for you guys to practice. I know you're going to get really good at them as we go through the month. And then our Bible verse is, whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Proverbs 25:28. This is a really great verse, and I'm really looking forward to teaching it to you guys this month and going over it with you. So make sure you get a hold of your sheet. Print it off from our website, shepherdwarriormartialarts.com. There's a tab for members, and the little drop-down menu says character trait sheets. And scroll all the way down to the bottom of that page to find the Juniors October Self-Control. And you guys can download it to phones, tablets, computers, print it out, have as many copies as you want so you can practice before bedtime. You can practice anytime you're hanging out in the kitchen. You know, put it up on the refrigerator or keep a copy in the car so you can read over it and practice it anytime you're just riding in the car, because really we got nothing better to do when we're just sitting in the back seat of the car, right? Okay guys, that's all I got for you today. We'll see you next time.